everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Precision Rifle Media. This week, we've got Troy Tyson coming on to talk about DST Precision and the DFAT system, and then a couple other matches he's got going on. I know that a lot of the listeners, I think, are good into the 22 scene, shooting 22s, the new NRL 22. I guess it's not even new anymore. It's been going for a long time, but the 22 matches and even some of the centerfire PRS NRL type matches. I mean the NRL Hunter class now. Troy has I've known Troy for quite a while. Troy's one of those guys where he could be having the worst day of shooting that he's ever had, and he's still having more fun than everybody else. That's just what I love about him. And he does a lot to bring new shooters in, which is why we're going to talk about the match that we're talking about. But I'm going to let Troy introduce himself a little bit and who he is and where DST Precision comes from. So with that, Troy, if you would mind introducing yourself, a little bit about who you are, what you do, where you're at, and what you're doing.
All right. Hi, I'm Troy Tyson. I own DST Precision. It was just a hobby that turned into my full time passion basically. And since COVID in 2020, I've been able to do this full time now, so that's pretty cool. Uh, as far as what we do here, I have a little precision rifle shop, so I have a lot of different products, but mostly just precision rifle, 22 or centerfire. But the DFAT, that's really kind of what allowed me to make my little shop, the dry fire training aid. That's the device that actually pays the bills, I guess.
Yeah, yeah. So, when did we meet, Troy? Must have been like 2015 or 14.
14 maybe? Yeah,
14
over
out
there.
at the Prairie Dog Shoot.
Yes, yep. That was a
Yeah,
lot of fun.
that was a long time ago. I mean, it feels like a long time. I guess it wasn't really all
Yeah,
that long ago, but it feels like a long time ago.
it does.
Um, and then what we shot some matches. You're kind of out there in you're in Zumbura Falls, up by Rochester, kind of, right? I mean, you're
Correct. Yep.
outside of Rochester there.
So just south of the cities, so you get to go up to the cities of for lots of different matches. We do have one down here in Casson, a local NRL 22 match down by Casson too.
Sure, yeah, because you used to have the match over by Bud, but that kind of got shut down, huh?
Yeah, gosh, when was that? Probably 2016, 17 or something like that. We used to have I used to run matches over there in Dodge Center. But yeah,
Yep.
the neighbors didn't like that, so unfortunately we lost that range.
Yeah, that's a bummer. So let's talk a little bit about the DFAT before we get too far into some of this other stuff, because I think this is going to be the DFAT's probably the biggest going to be the biggest aid to the most amount of people, right? So let's talk about the DFAT, what it is, how you came about designing it, and why we should have one. So let's just kind of go from there.
All right. Well, basically, it just allows your scope to focus at a shorter distance than they're made to. Back in the 70s, Leopold actually even had like a 50-foot converter for small bore competition and air rifle competitors. But this is just even scaled down more for 12 feet, so you can do it inside of a room or inside of a garage, and it allows us to use our scopes, and we can achieve very sharp focus at 12 feet, even you running at 30 power if you wanted to. So, and then I have a lot more targets that allow it to be a little bit more real world. Back with the first ones, we started, I think it was Garrett even, he had some of the first ones, and we just practiced at little dots, little white dots and little black dots, because that's all
Right.
you are really trying to do is control your wobble and trying to learn, oh, this position doesn't work. I need to do something different.
Right.
And so that worked, but now I have ranges actually. Well, like sure shot range, I have actually a range that is the same image as the same thing. And, so I mean, you can it, it it allows you to get lost in the target field
Yeah.
even
Yeah.
because just like when we're out shooting the real world,
So
you can't always find the targets.
yeah. So the how does it work? Where do you put it? What
What
are the
you
ranges that you're talking about?
Yep, what it is, you take in it's just a little device here. You take and screw it on the end of your scope.
Sure.
Um,
Where the
right on the objective lens where a
yep.
sunshade would go.
Yep.
And then, different adapter rings. I have basically like a 55 or a 37. Those are the common sizes. And then with different rings, you can basically make that fit all your different scopes. So you buy one device, then you buy which is about $100. then you buy the rings are $10, and you only need to buy one device to work on all your different guns.
Yeah, that's pretty sweet. And then how does the ranges work?
The ranges, 12 feet, plus or minus a couple inches is really what you want. I mean, this is just a clear example of one of the ranges, and this basically, you just have different size targets. Some of them are, I don't know here if you can see.
Yeah, so for the listeners, people that are just listening, I mean, you can shoot onto the
Oh, sorry.
but for people that are just listening, he's got like a what is that, like a 12 by 10
Yep,
by
just
10 by 12 or something, like a photo looking thing,
correct.
with a bunch of different dots marked out on like a landscape terrain type of a thing. So when you're getting like if you got this posted on the wall at your 12 feet, you can when you're looking at it, you're seeing like you're not seeing the wall in a black dot, you're seeing a landscape with like a target array out there.
Correct. Yep. And then like here's a example of with the NRL 22 now, they release the course of fire every month beforehand. So actually, I make and put up a sample target, so you can practice
Oh,
before the actual match, just like you're allowed to in the real world. You can set up the match in your backyard and shoot it. Well, here you can set it up and shoot it for no ammo cost basically,
yeah.
and then
So
you can.
that seems like kind of a neat thing where you could, especially with some of the technical stages where you might have to transition from one place to another back to the first one or something where you can get used to shooting the different targets in the order that they have to be shot.
Yeah, a couple. I don't practice as much as I should probably, but a couple examples would be, my dope card. We had to shoot right-handed and left-handed,
Mhm.
and when I was practicing, we were holding targets, and I couldn't see the dope card on the wrong side of the gun, so I moved it to the top of the gun. Little things like that I learned in the garage where it's nice and warm instead of outside where it's raining or 17 below.
Yeah, or where you're actually on the clock or something and
Yeah,
you're having some kind of an equipment malfunction now.
correct, correct.
Yeah, because I mean the rim fires you don't really want to be dry firing, but the center fires you can.
Oh, actually, I dry fire all my rim fires, but then again, that's everyone's you got to treat your gun the way you want to treat your gun.
Yeah,
I do have dry fire caps available on the website, but like the
yeah,
Voodoos, totally safe. The
sure.
Rimex, just remove the firing pin. The Bagaras, the B14s, they say they're dry fire safe, right in the manual, but they said, well, we didn't mean 10,000 dry fires.
Yeah,
So I treat that firing pin like a wear item. I just have an extra firing pin just in case it ever broke. I
sure.
you know you're
Because
still you're gonna get more hits on targets by using it and practicing with it than you than anything. So really practicing with it is the important part.
I know like a lot of the old rim fires, it used to be you'd shoot if you dry fired it too much, it'd put a little nick in the edge of the barrel at the mouth of the chamber there.
Yep, you could peen that over
Yep,
somehow.
exactly, and then cause some issues there.
Yep. So yeah, you can check. Tikas are the only ones I would recommend not dry firing.
Sure, and if you
Um,
got a snap cap, you're fine. Like if you put
mhm.
snap caps in or whatever,
Yep.
no big deal because you're stopping that firing pin from hitting anything important. But
Yep. Absolutely.
what are you seeing for the 22 stuff? You're talking about voodoos and remixes. What do you see the most of out there?
2 years ago, it used to be the B14s, the Bagaras. Those were super super common.
Yeah,
Um, and I think they dominated the sport. CZs are somewhat popular. I've I just started carrying them, let's say a year ago, only because I had customers asking for them.
sure.
But voodoos have really kind of dominated the sport.
Yeah,
I've been carrying voodoos for multiple years now, and I usually keep maybe 13 of them in stock or something like that, so people can just come in and grab one versus wait the. At one point, it was 5 6 months to get them. Now they're down to less than a couple.
yeah, yeah. A lot of that stuff seems to be getting a little better. COVID problems, right?
Yeah.
Materials are becoming available again, and everybody was scrambling to buy everything.
Oh,
Do
it
you
was.
sell? Do you see many of the Rimex?
Actually, I do. I started carrying the Rimex. Tyler Orth, he's one of the local shooters, and him and Eddie, they kind of talked me into that I needed to carry those. So I looked into it a little bit more, and I do carry the Rimex line now as well. Um, I have one for my personal gun, and it is extremely accurate. I have one of the Schillen barrels that we make here, and I'm very excited for it this next year.
Yeah.
It's very nice. It takes a little bit. You gotta run the bolt a little differently than the Voodoo, but after you get used to it, it works extremely well.
No, sure. So you say that you make there. Are you running machines now?
I have a gunsmith that does the barrels for me.
Okay. I know at one
Proofs,
time you told me if I ever wanted to become a gunsmith, you tell me.
exactly, exactly. I have a lot of proof barrels here. Those are so basically I assemble here in the store.
Sure.
I got 30 different proof blanks. I just got I think 6 or 8 for the Remix in today. Um, so that's one of the barrel options. The Schillen Select Match barrels are another option that's available. Those are about 18 months out on ordering, but I've had my order in for over 2 years now, so I'm starting to get those consistently. And
Oh,
that's the
nice.
one I have on my personal gun. And that's the
Oh, sure.
gunsmith. He cut that for me, and I have multiples of those now ready just to be screwed onto actions as well.
Oh, nice. I know I haven't talked to you in quite a while, but did you get a mill?
I do have a mill.
Did
Yes.
you
Yep.
did you mess your thumb up on it?
Yep. The finger. Those it look the big old bit looks invisible, but it's not. It's still there. You're not supposed to wipe those chips away.
No, no, not with your finger. That's for sure. I was
Yeah.
wondering because I think it was your wife that posted something like, "We're headed to the ER. Troy hurt himself on his mill."
Oh, I had customers lined up whether they were well, there was one here at the time, and then I think I had customers either coming the later that day or the next day, and they're about to, you know, they drugged me all up, so I didn't know what the heck was going on. But it's
Yeah,
like, don't anyone come because I'm not here.
yeah, yeah. Did you end up okay? Your finger okay?
Yeah, yeah. I always tell my hold it up. I always tell my son, "Yep, it's this one." So I get well, took it a little off the top. It's a little shorter.
Oh,
You
yeah,
see, they always are, right?
yeah. Well, as long as no permanent damage, that stuff can,
No.
man, that stuff can happen quick.
Yes. Yep. Yeah. I got very lucky. Yep. You gotta be careful with those tools.
But so you have a gunsmith. Do you have a gunsmith on site then that comes in?
No, I actually I have some of the blanks delivered right to his place. Go pick them up, things like that. He is
Oh,
local though. Here's in Minnesota. Here, he's local.
oh, sure, cool,
Yeah.
cool. Yeah. So speaking of 22 stuff, let's talk about a little bit about the ammo while we got it. You know what? Sorry, not to jump over too far, but we got off a little bit on a tangent here. We were talking about the DFAT, and let's get back to that because there's some stuff that I wanted to hit on with that, like kind of the if you want to kind of hit on the fact that you got to be honest with yourself when you're shooting with it, right?
Yes.
Because I mean, you can do it wrong a million times, and then you're just doing it wrong.
Yeah. They're like, oh, that was close enough. Oh, that was close enough. No, you kind of have to be honest, like you're saying. When the firing pin fell, where was the crosshair? You know, um, for me, it's kind of easy. I can kind of take a mental snapshot of where it's at. That works very well for me. There's other options for other customer or for other people that it's too much work for me personally. But you can run like a camera, you know, a, a scope cam of some
Sure,
sort, and then
sure,
you can play it back, and you can see exactly where the crosshairs were. There's another company I'm working with here, Laser Hit, I believe. Um, I can give you a link to put on the website, but
sure.
they actually have something that's pretty cool. It's positive feedback. You set up a cam. It takes a little bit to set up the camera, but you can set up the camera on a target. You put a laser in the actual scope, or not the scope, the gun,
In the gun,
and then when you fire it, it fires a little laser. It's actually very accurate. It's similar technology to what they've been using in pistols, but
sure.
prone, I can hold under a half-minute group, and the laser stays and it goes exactly where it's supposed to.
Really?
So you can see the laser there, which is great positive feedback. But better yet, the computer actually will tell you if it's a hit or a miss. Gives you a
Oh,
little
that's pretty
ting,
cool.
a steel impact sound, and then
Really?
it'll tell you
Oh,
your
that's
group
cool.
size.
What, pretty soon we're not even gonna have to leave our houses to compete.
Yeah,
There's
yeah, right.
won't be any don't have to worry about finding 4350, don't have to worry about bullets running out.
Yep.
Um, any idea on what that's gonna cost? I mean, any rough idea or too early to tell?
I think it's a little too early to tell, but it's more like $200, not $2,000.
Oh,
You
sure,
know,
okay.
because I mean, there's been some companies out there that I've talked to over in the past few years, and there's other ones out there that are multiple thousands of
Yeah.
dollars, but this is going to be a few hundred.
Yeah, because that's the thing, right? With enough money and time, you can get anything done, right? But for the average
Yep.
guy, something a couple $100. I mean, if it was $500, I'd be in. Because just think, I mean, think about that. That's if you use it 1,000 times, you
Yep.
just paid for bullets,
True.
right? I mean,
Yeah.
if it's $500 and what's 1,000 bullets is, or 500 bullets is. Oh no, I'm thinking off. It's been a while since I've bought a lot of bullets. Um, thousand, yeah, 1,000 rounds, 500 would be about 250, $300 for 500 ish or whatever. And then go from there. You just paid it off right there,
Yep.
and then wear and tear on the barrel, right? Now you don't have, that's 1,000 rounds you saved on your barrel. If you got something fast, worry about burning barrels up.
Yep.
I could see it saving a lot of money. Plus for me, I wouldn't have to go anywhere. I could do it in the basement, and have like real live feedback.
And that's the biggest thing is if you can get in the habit of doing it, once a week or even, every other day. When we travel to a match and shoot 10 stages, that's literally 20 minutes of shooting.
Yeah.
If you just took 5 minutes, every other day, it's like running two more stages. It's it's surprisingly if you live in a house where you can keep your gun just laying out with a scope on it and everything's set up. It literally only takes a couple minutes to run a stage,
Yeah.
and it really becomes second nature if you're doing it more often like that.
How often, or how long do you think it'll be before this laser thing will be done?
Um, Months.
Months?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Actually, I talked to him earlier, and he was going to take and put something up on the website, but he didn't quite have it done yet.
Oh, sure.
But
Because
by the time the show comes out, I bet you it will be, and I'll give you we'll put a link, or I'll send you a link to that.
awesome. I want the first one. Call me. Call me when it gets to your shop.
All right.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited for that. Because, like I said, the thing about the DFAT is it's a great training tool. But if you're not honest with yourself, the thing that I've noticed with using it is, like you got to be able to know where the crosshairs were when the shot broke. Because if
Yep.
you're not honest with yourself, it's easy to pull the trigger and go, definitely hit that one,
Yep.
and then not think about it again. So that's
Yeah.
the one thing that I like to push when I tell people about it is like they're a great tool. You just got to be honest with yourself.
Yeah.
If you aren't very good at this, you gotta really know that it's not as easy as what it's not as easy as what oh, how do I want to put it? You can shoot if you do it a million times, but you're not honest with yourself, you're not going to gain anything, right? That's what I'm trying to say.
Yep.
If you
Yes.
just pull the trigger
Yep. Yeah, you definitely need a lot of live fire too, or some live fire to reinforce, especially like in I find the offhand shooting the hardest one for me to
yeah.
be honest with myself with.
Yep. And then
Um,
wind too, right? Like that's another thing. You're not going to train in wind, but you're going to but then the nice thing about that is you're going to be dialed in on your form, right?
yep.
And so when you go out there and you do have a miss, you're not going to be wondering, you know, wow, was it me? Was it the gun? Was it the scope? Was it the wind? Was it, you can
Yep.
hopefully have most of that stuff dialed in and you can, see your first hit and then make a correction and at least get half your points.
In a lot of the matches now, it's getting into the position quickly and going to a different target, dialing. That there's a lot of steps that they test multiple stressors, I guess, in a match, and changing positions and moving positions that you definitely don't even have to shoot around for. It's you start the timer and you figure out, can I move in all these positions enough to pull it fast enough? Well,
Right.
can I move into this position quick enough and get, so my crosshairs stay within the target while I'm wobbling? Or what do I have to change in order to stay in the center of the
Yeah.
target rather
To
than
build
just within the target?
to build yourself a solid platform. Yep. Yep. That's a lot. That's really, I mean, the most important thing probably, right, is having a steady platform,
Yep.
which is
Uh,
something that, man, when that buzzer goes off or somebody tells you to go or whatever, it's like you throw your stuff down, you just want to start shooting. But if you take an extra, I think a lot of times you'd be better off taking an extra half a minute and getting built up good and getting, if you could get 30% or 60% or whatever of your hits, where if you didn't build a good platform, and not get any, you know what I mean? Like
Yep.
I think, but for me especially, like I know it's hard for me to slow down enough to want to build that good platform. I'm always got to remind myself to slow down, build a good platform, get the hits you can get, you know. So
And this, another thing you're talking about, being honest with yourself. A lot of the targets I have are, 2 to 2 minutes, or in that ballpark. Some of the targets nowadays are definitely smaller than that.
a lot of them
Francis Clone, he told me, yeah, I need something smaller because those targets are just a little too big. So now I have some made up that are less than a half a minute. Some of them are like
are.
a point. I took a half a minute target, reduced it 50, then copied it and reduced it 50 again. So
Oof.
there's like this little speck on this paper that you can barely see. But that's what he uses when he dry fire practices, to make sure that the reticle doesn't move off of that at
Yeah,
all.
yeah.
Um,
It's right.
he's
It's
in a
aim
different
small, miss
level.
small, right?
He's in a different level than a lot of
Yeah,
us.
right.
Um,
No, he is,
but
but it's like
but
it's
that
a classic aim small, miss small, though, right? It's like, if you practice on the really, really small stuff, and then you're used to seeing that quarter minute, and then you get out and you've got a full minute or a minute and a half, you're thinking like, how can I miss?
Yep, this will be easy.
And then you miss anyway, and you're like, well,
Some days.
yeah. I still talk about that match that we shot out at Bud's there, when we set that Texas star up.
Okay, yes.
That was super cool. I don't think there's too many people that have done that. But
Yeah, and then we had the impossible spinner too, that match, unfortunately.
oh, that's right. Yeah,
That
yeah.
was one of my first matches. That's when I learned that you need to, test the course of fire the day beforehand.
Yeah. Yeah, right, right. Yeah,
Yeah,
we should have done that.
a 300 Win Mag didn't wouldn't quite spin that one.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, when the 300 doesn't do it. Yeah, that's right. I forgot about that. Yeah, that's funny. So, okay, let's talk about some 22 matches then. Are you hosting those or are you just shooting them?
I don't host that many matches anymore. I started off doing them in Minnesota, but now there's multiple clubs that have them going, so that's great. I help out with our local one here in Caston. Sheldon and Zach are actually the match directors, but I go and help when I can. We had 3 foot of snow over there the other day, so we
Yeah.
took over the tractor and blew out some lanes so we could
Yeah,
actually
yeah.
shoot. Um, and then as far as I like over the past years, I guess I've done up at Rush Lake. I've done like a 2-day national up there. I've ran those for the center fire, but now we haven't had those for a while. Um, I always try to do one event a year at least, and I usually try to do a new shooter, or pro am type thing. This year, I'm actually calling it, what is it? Just a structured open range and training weekend,
Oh, sure.
because so many people are scared to go to a match. And
It's
even
a lot of
if it
money. I mean, the thing is you go to a 2-day match, for you, where's the closest 2-day match for you? Probably Iowa?
well,
Oh, no,
back we used to have them at Rush Lake, but still that's 5 hours away.
yeah. Because how far is like Jim's matches down in Iowa?
That's
Like,
only 2 hours, yeah. Yep,
yeah. Yeah. But still 2 hours. Now you got 2 hours to drive down and then shoot and whatever. If you're going to drive home or get a hotel, most people probably get a hotel because you got to be there early.
yep,
And I mean, ammo and everything by the time entry fees and everything by the time you're done, I mean, you're $800 in, and that doesn't include the time.
yep,
Your time being away from, if you've got work you got to be off of or family or whatever. So to just jump in and spend that kind of money to go, most likely not do very well. I think you'll back me up on this. Most people go to their first precision rifle match and they do not do well, and they learn a ton and they come back to the second one and generally do a lot better. I mean, now I think
yes,
there's more good information out there where people can train up a little better and be more prepared. But I still think your first match is a pretty humbling experience generally.
yes, it definitely is. It was harder on us back in the day. I think we a lot of us showed up, really green,
Yeah.
missing targets by 20 feet. Because what do you mean you have to hold over? What?
Yeah. Yeah. Right. Yeah.
Where now, yeah, with all the training that's out there online, people show up. Last year we had I had a couple guys, and they this was their first match, and they could they could literally hold a 4-inch group at 1,000 yards.
Yeah.
So they already had the accuracy part down. It's
Yeah.
just now it's just the match flow.
Yep.
They came with equipment that dominated.
Yeah. Well, and like you said, the match flow, getting used to having somebody tell you start, stop, and getting used to the moving, and you can do all that, but it's a little different when you're on the clock at a match, you know. I mean,
Yep, absolutely.
it's I'm not saying you can't be prepared. I'm just saying it's can be kind of a daunting thing when you got to spend $800 to go try it, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's what, NRL 22 matches, our local one does youth for free,
Oh,
and I
nice.
think adults are like 15 bucks. A
Yeah.
lot of the other ones are gonna be like, 15, 30, something like that. It's very reasonable price for the 22 matches.
Yeah, and then,
Um,
I mean, you don't have to reload, right? You don't have to or
oh,
hand
no.
load or whatever. You just call up Troy, and what do you buy? You buy your test pack.
Yeah, yes, yep, I got
I
rid of
see
a bunch
people
of
do
those.
I see people talking about that all the time.
Yeah, it's funny, some I found a lot of some ammos like, the Ely 10X and the Ely Match, when I tested those, they all shot about the same through the gun. I've had other lots of ammo that, different lots are very, you know, let's say picky or something like that. But it's yeah, you gotta find what your gun likes. And once you do, and then there's some great accuracy.
Yeah, do you ship those test packs or no?
I do. I usually I wish I could do the test packs more often. Um because right now I have the new Lapua long range and super long range. That's the current one. So those first 10 test packs went pretty quick. Oh, sorry. And they went pretty quick. And now I'm trying to hold. I'm not sending out more packs so that they have an opportunity to test them and then
Yep.
buy at least 2 bricks. If everyone picked the same ammo, at least they get 2 bricks of it.
Right.
Where hopefully they're gonna pick different lots and then they'll get a bunch. I have 21 cases of that ammo. I've spent like $40,000 on it. It's yeah, kind of stressful, but now I have all of it here. Last time I did it with Ely and I did it with 10X and Match. I just ordered a little bit of each, and then when we went to order it, the distributor was all out of this.
Ah,
Then they were all out of the second choice, and they had some of the third choice. So that's why I try to do it now, where people will get their first choice.
sure.
But
So
that's kind of hard now because I got a lot of people that want test packs, and I can't guarantee everyone what they need. If they
yeah, right, right, and then lot to lot, it makes a difference too. It's like buying powder, right? It's like it's not like you can go buy some and then, "Oh, this just likes 10x," and then you
yeah.
just go buy 10x at Runnings or whatever, you know? It's you gotta get the lot that you tested.
That's one nice about this, the long range and the super long range. I was very happy with it, how consistent it was. All of it shot, well, through 2 different guns, all the different lots, they were single digit SDs, extreme spreads in the 20s. I was pretty excited about that.
Yeah, I don't do a whole lot with the 22s yet. I'm gonna build one, I think, this spring and start shooting those matches in the summer, but I'm not at the level I need to be with those.
Well, I do have some options here. If you take a look, I got a row of voodoos and a row of this. So
All
yeah,
freshly cleaned.
yeah. Let me yeah, I'll hook you up.
Awesome. Um, all right, so you order up the test pack. It comes with whatever the 10 different types or whatever it is, and then they ship them out. You test them. Call up Troy. Buy whatever the gun likes best.
Yep. I wish I could do that more often. Right now, all the test packs are already sold, but
Bummer.
yeah, that's it's
But if you go to Facebook and you like DST Precision and keep an eye on it,
yes, yep. I would be able to do it more often. Um,
if there's a demand for it, I mean, it'll start happening more and more.
yep, absolutely.
And it's kind of a neat thing because otherwise you're stuck buying boxes of stuff and it's, you're kind of wishing and hoping you can get enough of what you want. And it's always the fight, right? It's always trying to get,
Yeah, and for the local shooters, I usually try not to sell. On my websites, you'll see the DFATs and a few other things, but not nearly what I have in the store.
sure,
What I have in the store is a lot more than what's on the website, but I keep it in stock for local people.
sure.
If I put
And all
everything
the
on
good
the
stuff for
website,
yourselves. I see how it is.
it'd be empty, just like everyone else was empty.
Yeah.
So I was, when people come into the store, we can go out to the barn and we can find multiple different lots of ammo and try a box, and then they call back, and then I can ship them some more, or they can come back and pick up more of it.
Sure, sure.
So
Cool. So when a brick is 1,000?
brick is 500 rounds. So
500.
like moderate price stuff like Norm Attack or SK, $80 a brick. Center X is like 153 a brick. Um, the some of the like the 10X in this is like $200 a brick. So it can get up there a little bit.
Yeah, but even up there a little bit is still pretty cheap when you're talking the difference between that and center fire.
Yeah. Yeah, I have a case of what was it, 300 Norma Mag. It's $800 for the case of 200 rounds.
Yeah.
Ouch.
Yeah. See that? Yeah. And I mean, with the 22s, you can just go, I mean, for 200 rounds, $200, even for 500 rounds, you're doing pretty good as far as
Yeah.
that stuff goes. Now, you're not going to train up, you're not going to recoil management, right? You're not really going to have any recoil management or anything, but you can do just about everything else.
Yep.
So, 22 matches are good. Let's talk a little bit more about your upcoming match train up deal.
Yes. So that'll be at Rush Lake Range. It's New York Mills, Minnesota. And last year I did rimfire. This year we're gonna do rimfire and center fire. We're gonna start off on a Friday, Saturday. We're gonna do center fire. Basically, people can show up that just wanna shoot targets and have fun. People can show up that want to know learn a little bit about this PRS stuff and what it is. I'm gonna have something for everything. That's the goal. So you can
Awesome.
just people can come out and, oh, there's a 300-yard full size IPSC deer. I'm gonna shoot at that. Yay, great. I'm gonna go back and hang out and talk to everyone. Or you know, um, kind of have like a 22 NRL hunter stage for kids that are there to actually to try to learn how to hit a squirrel. Have
Yeah.
different targets and stuff like that.
Super cool.
Um, and then Sunday, Monday, since it's a 4-day weekend, we were gonna do rimfire, so no loud guns on the range on those days, so it's a little easier for, let's say, if there's youth and people that are a little more sound sensitive. It's going to
Sure.
be a little bit easier on us. And
Oh, okay.
another thing I like about 22 matches is a lot of us just shoot the standard velocity ammo, so it's easy on the ears. We don't have to wear hearing protection too sometimes,
Oh, sure. Nice.
so
Yeah.
that's more comfortable for me.
Get enough people with their cans on too, right?
Yeah, with center fire I like the can. With rimfire I actually don't run the cans.
Oh, yeah.
it it's
What are you seeing? Harmonic
it's
problems or?
Well, my particular gun, yes, had that, but that's not the norm. Um, However, the norm is, if you're depends on what you're shooting, the RO doesn't know if you shot or not. They pull their head up from the glass, and then they see that you just shot, you're around the bolt, and they weren't looking because they don't hear you. Some of these
Ah,
cans are too quiet. You literally, you're 10 feet from them, and you can't tell that they shot.
yeah. Well, because you got ear pro on probably for everything else, right?
Even no ear pro on those 22 matches.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's just the stage that's 20 foot to the right or 20 foot to the left. The suppressed shots get lost in those.
Ah, that makes sense. Yeah. Oh, that's crazy. I guess I didn't think of that. The I only shot 122 match, and it was I don't remember anybody having a can. So
Yeah, it's you can, some people do, but it's almost too quiet. Some of them are. It's crazy.
I know that this match is up in New York Mills, so that excludes a lot of people from being able to make it, right? But I wanted to have you on because I thought it was a really neat thing that you're doing, to help grow the sport and help get people interested, involved, and ready for their first big matches, right? And I figured maybe having you on to talk about a little bit about what you're doing with it would maybe help some of these other clubs like the most guys, right? Maybe
Yeah.
they start doing it, and then maybe like the YCO guys, maybe they start doing it, right? And they just have like an open range day where they invite people down. You treat it like a regular match. You set some targets up. Guys can run stages, have a good time. Maybe have some lunch or something.
Yep. And that's really what I've kind of migrated to this year. I'm calling it an open range day because or weekend because a lot of the matches, the monthly NRL 22s are pretty open and inviting to people.
Yeah,
So there's a lot, it's pretty easy for people to come and have fun. But there's still people that are afraid of the word match.
yeah,
So in that case, they can come to this one. People like going and shooting guns, so it's like, all right, you can come here to this range, and we can shoot guns, and you can do your normal shooting, or you can learn a little bit from this person, or you can even people with higher skill levels, they're going to go, and we're going to have them in a different group, and they're going to work on things that they're not good at to practice to become better for actual matches.
Yeah. The other cool thing that I could see happening here is like one thing about the precision rifle stuff is if you've never been to a match, I know most people listening probably have, but um, if you've never been to a match and you start dealing with these guys, like the dude next to you might have a $10,000 rifle. And if you look over and you're like, hey, can I shoot that? He'll be like, definitely.
Yep.
Yes, definitely here. And he'll like throw it at you, you gotta like catch it. You're like, oh, I don't want to break it. And he's like, ah, maybe you break it. Like you'll never it's so like I could see it being a cool spot where you could try new gear and guys could maybe come out and try a chassis and a stock and talk to people and see what people like and kind of learn a little bit more too about some of the big purchases, right? Because like especially with scopes, right? A lot of people, they're expensive, and
Yep.
and it's like kind of the harder part for most people to buy. I think it's easy to buy guns, and it's not as easy to buy the scopes, right? That's kind of what I see. So then your guy buys a Night Force, loves it, right? And then Night Force is the greatest thing in the world. This scope he's got's like the greatest, right? But he's never tried a Z comp. He's never tried a Schmidt and Bender. He's never tried a Collis. He's never tried any of that stuff, right? And now you could get out there and you can look through all that stuff and kind of play with it and talk to people, see
Absolutely.
what they
Yep.
like, see what you like for turrets and see what you like for reticles and see and actually be able to be at a range and looking down and because it sounds like kind of the whole point is just to get people ready and involved, right? Which
Yep,
is
to get people involved, just get them out and shooting, and then some of them might be interested in this precision rifle type event. Others just want to go out and shoot, and now I'm making this event welcoming to them as well.
yeah.
And I think it's just it's great to get the kids out. In Minnesota, we have a lot of lady shooters. They're maybe a third at some matches are ladies.
Oh,
It's a large Ruth up there. She's one of the
yeah.
instigators. She's been
Yeah.
getting a lot getting a lot of ladies involved in it.
Good.
Um, so I lost where I was thinking.
Oh, no, just the lady shooters getting in there. Yeah. So that's good. And like I know my wife, she's a little bit intimidated by like she came down to the I think it was the Bighorn match still, Chaz's match down in South Omaha there. She likes shooting. She's good at shooting, but she's like, I have no interest in going down and being a part of that. Like all those dudes out there taking it super serious, spending all kinds of money to try and compete. She's like, it's too much,
Yes. Yep.
but like she would come out and then like it'd be a win-win for me, right? I get to come out and shoot and like practice and train, and then she does too. And there's no pressure, no nothing.
Well, it's Memorial Day weekend is when we're having it up here. Do you guys camp at all? Because there's a spot to camp at the range too. We could
Is
bring the
there?
whole family. Yep.
We'll be in
So
touch.
that's really kind of what I'm going for, is trying to get families out.
Oh
I
yeah.
have this one family from Wisconsin. They come over, and I think there's 8 of them in their camper.
Oh dang. Yeah.
6 little kids and 3 dogs, and they make the trip over, and they just have a blast.
No, that's cool.
Um,
Yeah, that would be a good idea. Um, Memorial Day weekend. I'm gonna look into it. I know we got a trip planned. I don't know if that's the weekend or not. My wife is the master. She's the keeper of the calendar, right?
yes.
I'm always asking her, "Can I go do this thing?" It's not because I need permission. It's because I don't know what else is going on.
You were talking about scopes and things like a different quality of scopes. If you are local here to Minnesota, my shop's small, but I don't have much for shotguns or pistols, but I carry a lot of precision rifle stuff, and I have samples here for people to try out. I have my favorites, but that's not what everyone else's are. So that's why I have a Tangent Thetas, Zero
Oh,
Comps, Attackers, Gen 2s, Gen 3s. Um, I didn't know that much about the Zeiss, but I got a couple of the new ones because I heard really good things about the new S3 Zeisses. Um, I carry quite a few of the higher end optics so people can go out and, well, then I also have the PSTs, and
yeah, yeah.
I even have some Arkans and stuff like that, a wide variety of stuff. But you can take them outside, and I got 400 or 500 yards. You can look across down the road and compare them.
No, that's pretty cool too. Because there's not a lot of places you do. You go to Shields and they got a couple things. And you're looking across the store.
Yeah.
You know.
Yep, exactly. Yeah, and if during the bright daylight, I find a lot of scopes work really well when in conditions that we're shooting at. Twilight hunting might be slightly different, but
Yeah. Yep. Nope, I agree with you, and that's it's a hard place to find several of those brands all at one time, right? Because the big stores, well, for a lot of the small shops, if
Yep.
you're a very specialty shop, right? But a
Yeah.
lot of the small shops, it's hard for them to carry, you know.
Yeah, and I'm not even necessarily a dealer for every one of them, but at least I have a sample for you, and if that's the one you like, well, then you can go find it somewhere else, or maybe I can try, but
Yeah, right.
it's still it's nice to be able to have a wide variety of them. So, definitely stock the ones that, I'm partial to. I
Yeah,
like that Attacker and the Gen 3. Those are what I consider some of the better ones,
sure. Yeah,
even though they're not the most expensive.
right. Yeah, I've got an attacker. I had a 7 to 35, but I sold it not necessarily because I wanted to. I won it, and then when I bought my lathe and my mill, I sold that, and then I went and because
Yep,
that was new in
yep,
the box still, and I had mine. My 5 to 25. It's been through some matches. It's dinged up, and the
yep.
the parallax turret's got a big dent in it and stuff. And so I'm like, well, if I want to get any money out of it, nobody wants it. Scopes get a dent in it, and it ain't worth hardly anything anymore, right? Like for whatever reason, one little scuff, and people, I get it. They're expensive, and you want it to be nice, but so I sold the 7 to 35 so I could fund some of that stuff. But that and the trusty old Steiner,
Oh, yes, yep.
yeah, that's actually been a pretty good scope. I know a lot of people haven't loved them, but mine's been really, really good for a lot of years. All right, so the train up. What do you think is the? Oh, I know what I was going to talk about. The getting the families involved. That's one thing. So when I shoot with the 50 cal guys, the 50 cal shooters association, like the cool thing about that is like when you're on the line and you're down there for like the 1,000 yard worlds or whatever, and there's like families and stuff all over, which is super cool to me, right?
Yep.
But you don't really see that at PRS matches and stuff, right? But I think that doing this and trying to get the families involved, I think is a super cool thing, to try and get the kids involved and be a part of it and try to get the wives involved and be a part of it, right? And grow the sport as a family event, right? Because if the kids like it and the wife likes it and I like it, then we can all get out there and do it. Well, then that grows the sport, which then drives things the way they've been going, right?
And also, it's just, it's more fun to do some things as a family.
Oh, I agree, 100%.
It's great. That's really why, we have a great range that has the opportunity to let some people camp there.
Yeah,
We don't have electricity and stuff, but that's okay because I mean,
yeah,
you can run a generator if you have electricity or something like that. But
right.
there's a nice little spot there, and there's a lot of camaraderie and just
How old's Gavin now?
he is
Yeah,
12. He's
12.
12. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
So
he's
he
playing
shoots he
playing
shoots a little bit. It's still not his total thing. He got into it last year. One of the what was it? The Monticello series. He won his division in that for the season. So
Oh,
that was pretty
nice.
cool. He is excited about that.
Nice. Yeah, so, like, Easton, he's, 5 this year, and so, I mean, he's not, not shooting really yet or nothing serious, just, BB guns or whatever and stuff, but, um, I think, like, I get more excited when he hits, like, a pop can with his little pellet gun at 20
Yep.
yards. Hold on one second here, I gotta ooh, sorry about that. I get more excited if he hits a pop can at 10 feet or 20 feet or whatever than if I hit a target at who cares how far, you know what I mean? Like
Yep.
just watching him do it is so like for me, getting the family involved is like that's like the next level here.
Exactly. And it doesn't have to be an actual match. It doesn't have to be a competition. Just going out and shooting with them, and then we're there and we can shoot a match or we can practice too. But all being there at the same time, doing and with that's the goal is at that range it's large enough that we can have some people just doing the pop can plinking or our steel pop cans
Yeah, yeah.
and other people actually doing a 90-second stage or something if they want.
Yeah, no, that's super cool. I think getting the families involved is awesome. Is there anything that we didn't get a chance to talk about that you want to talk about? Anything
um
specific, anything cool you've been doing or anything that you want to
I've been just kind of staying busy with the store. I got a ton of burger hybrids, the 140s in stock if anyone
Yeah.
needs some of those, kind of stocking up with different ammos and things like that.
Yeah, cool. I'm glad your finger healed up. That's pretty good. Uh I saw that thing and I told my wife was sitting there and I'm like, Troy told me if he ever gets machines to call him and yell at him. I didn't know he got
Yeah.
machines, but he already took a
Oh,
finger off. She goes, what? I'm like,
I've been looking at lays off and on too. I'm like, no, don't do it. Don't do it.
Yeah,
I already still, I'm kind of too busy as it is. So,
right. It takes a lot of time. It's pretty time consuming to, get out there and when you
I,
try to
you know,
run the rest of the store, and then you got to also be in the shop then. You know what I mean?
yeah, yeah. The DFATs, since COVID, in 2020, sales have probably tripled. I bet.
Oh wow.
The very first time is like, all right, I got 2 weeks off. I can't go to work. The range of the matches are getting canceled, and I can't find any primers. So
Yeah.
people started buying them, and so they kind of sat home and just practiced, when
Right.
they're on, their furloughs or whatever.
Right.
So that started, and then then their buddy found out about it, and then kind of from word of mouth, people started, but it, more and more people found out about them. So I think that's
Right.
and also there's some of the trainers out there like Jacob Byam down at Rifles Only. He has
Yep.
them in their pro shop now too, and
Oh,
he
cool.
he he believes in dry fire a lot. So I mean,
Yeah.
little things like that have really helped out that part of the business, and that's definitely kept me busy.
Do you ever see that video where he changes a barrel with like a pipe wrench or whatever?
I love that.
Ah, so do I. People lose their minds, right? This guy doesn't know what he's doing. It's like, I don't know. I think he might know a lot about what he's doing.
It's yeah, it's stuff like that. The more I'm into that, the longer I'm into this, is sometimes you can't see the trees through the forest. All those little things that I was worried about back in the day. Uh, counting, picking out one kernel of varget with a tweezer
Yeah.
versus, well, you know what? It's more about hit. There's so many more things to this sport than
Right.
that. That you
Right.
don't need a quarter-inch gun to do this. You just need to be able to always
All your
put
wind,
your
really.
bullet you put your bullets where you want them to be, not,
Yeah.
your cone of fire is okay, but, consistency in your data and, was it Chris Way with, was it Riflecraft,
Yep.
practicing, different positions and, how small your group is within within all your positions, not just from the prone.
Right.
And,
Exactly. Yeah, that was a pretty cool deal. I think he's still doing all that. I should
yeah,
get him
yeah,
to be on
yes, and actually,
the podcast.
I have a the dry fire targets. I have those on some of these as well. So you can
Oh, cool.
the rifle craft. Well, there it is. There, that's what they look like. Just
Oh, yeah.
little
Cool. Yep.
little
The
guys.
triangles. Yeah.
And I used to do that back when I competed more. Is I'd shoot a group at one target from all the different positions, and I could get it. My 6.5 Creedmoor lightweight. I get it to overlap. It was all great. I went out and did it with my 22 the other day, and all my positional stuff was 2/10 high, and my prone was right on. And like, dude, I better get back to practicing.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. 2/10. That could be, I mean, it's not terrible.
That's a chunk. And
That
it
could
was
be
it
a
was
big
it was
difference.
it was funny. I mean, it was definitely a point of impact shift my from my standing and my kneeling. It was
Head
you get
placement, I suppose, or
yeah. I'm gonna find out more what exactly it is, but
I'd be
yeah,
interested
it definitely was something.
be interested to hear a little more about that too, whatever you find, if it's a parallax thing or a
No, definitely not the parallax, but
no?
yeah, it's we'll find out. I don't think it was recoil because it was 22-pound rimfire.
Yeah, right, right. Well, for a while there, I haven't talked to Todd Hodnett in a while, but he was talking about he leaves a little bit of scope shadow, right?
Oh, for like when you can't parallax down, yeah, back up so you have
Just
even
as a
scope shadow.
yep, I mean, even if you've got your parallax adjusted, he leaves a little bit of scope shadow just to know that he's centered no matter what, right?
Yep. Yeah,
Which
and with rimfire is actually more important than center fire because I don't know, you may have there's a Leupold customer service guy or a pro shooter. He has talked about parallax, and it's it has something to do with the objective of your scope. That's the furthest off you can always be. So you can only be off 56 millimeters no matter what. Even if you had the worst parallax setting.
really,
So 56 millimeters, 2 inches at 1,000 yards, big whoop.
right.
2 inches at a 25-yard target, that's
Yeah,
that's a lot.
yeah. Huh, that's crazy. I guess I didn't know that. It doesn't get bigger with distance, right? It doesn't like.
No, no, it's proportionally with your scope bell, your
Oh,
objective lens. So he explained it really well, so it was easy to understand. It's a little
you
pulled shooter.
should figure out who you were talking to and let
Yep.
me know who that was,
Yes, I can do that.
and I will call him up and see if he wants to come tell me about it.
Yes, it was. Yeah, yeah. Distance, it's a small deal compared to the rimfires.
Huh. Well, yeah, because some of those rimfire targets are only a quarter inch wide. I mean, when's the
Yeah,
last time you shot a center fire match where you were shooting a target as wide as the bullet?
exactly.
You know?
Yeah, they always used to have those quarter inchers at 25 yards. Now at some of the bigger matches, they're putting them out at 50. I think 67's the farthest I've had to shoot at a quarter incher. I
Oh,
think.
ouch. Yeah, it's funny. There isn't even like a circle on the end of it, right? It's just
Nope.
a straight. So awesome. Well, Troy, where can we find you? Where's the best place to get a hold of you?
DST Precision .net is the my main website that has the DFATs on it and everything like that. Um, however, with the world the way it is, not everyone likes guns and ammo, so I had to have a different website for ammo. That's dstprecision.us, and
Really?
that has my ammo stuff on it.
Really? Your other site wouldn't let you deal ammo?
No, they shut me down because I had something that said magazine.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
So, unfortunately, the one website's way too easy to use compared to the other one. That's why I still have two.
Yeah, that's a bummer. That's a bummer. That's crazy. I can't believe they shut you down over the word magazine.
Yeah. Well, it's what is it? It's ran through my. I collect money through PayPal, and they're not exactly
Oh yeah,
gun
that's a
friendly.
problem. Yeah, that's a
Yes, it is. Yeah.
yeah. There's real quick. There's a company out there trying to start like a gun friendly PayPal thing. I,
Okay. Yep.
I'm
And
not sure.
that's my other websites through. They have gun friendly payments. Yep.
Sure. Cool. Well, there you go. There's the two websites, or DST Precision on Facebook.
Yes.
Are you
Yep.
on the gram?
No. No.
Uh,
There's already too many things to try to keep up with.
Bummer. All right. Yeah, I don't. I have one, but I don't use it much. So there you go. And then is there like a contact form there if somebody's got questions, comments, or concerns?
Yep, and honestly, yeah, just, the DST Precision on Facebook is a good spot too. But
Cool.
yeah, though, my email is very easy, dstprecision@yahoo.com.
Boom. There you go. Nice and easy. Troy, is last call. Anything you want to talk about before we hang her up?
I can't think of anything else.
No.
I really appreciate you having me on. Thanks for the time. I'm
Oh,
glad you're back to doing shows. This is great.
yeah, yeah, I am too. I'm having a lot of fun with it. It's well, I know. I think Brian's kind of on the first show, I think, but we talk about it. He's helping out, running all the tech side and stuff, and it's it's crazy like how out of practice I am with it, right? Like getting
Yep.
people back on and getting the show started and getting everything. There's a learning curve that I didn't think I would have getting back into it after being out for a year. It's just a year. I did it for 9 years, out for a year, and I come back and I feel like I feel like I'm starting over sometimes.
There is one thing I did forget to talk about. In Minnesota, we used to do NRL matches quite a bit,
Yeah.
and now with Ken and Missy taking over the PRS,
Yep.
we are actually going to start doing more PRS matches. So a lot of the matches that we have now are going to start count for PRS points. So local shooters will have an opportunity to compete in the PRS regional matches, and even some of the we have some local great shooters, and they have an opportunity to get to the championship.
Awesome.
Through that. Um,
Awesome.
Give a shout out to some other local shooters. We have was it Justin Carbone, Ruth, and Tyler Orth, and was it Jason Anderson? They all made the world's team for
Yeah.
the 2022 matches.
Dang.
They're all just local
Minnesota.
Minnesota shooters.
Yeah.
That's we got some stiff competition over here, but it's also really great because then you can learn a lot. You have to learn how
Yeah.
how competitive you need to be.
Well, that's the thing, right? You hang out with people that are real good, and it's going to set you at
Yeah,
that bar, right? You hang out with a bunch of people, and you're the best guy, then
yeah,
kind of get complacent with it.
yeah. But yeah, that's pretty cool that they made the national or what world's team, I guess. So
Yeah,
that's pretty cool.
that is cool. That's awesome. Well, man, keep in touch. Let me know when that laser deal hits the ground. I want one. I want one, but real bad.
All right, sounds great.
So, hey, Troy, I really appreciate you taking some time to come on.
Thank you very much.
Awesome. Thanks. So, with that, everybody, that wraps up our show with Troy. I hope you enjoyed it. Troy's a great guy. More than willing to help anybody out with anything they need help with. Questions, if you got for him, I mean, definitely feel free to reach out. He's, like I said earlier, he has more fun at these matches than anybody I've ever met, and he's trying to grow the sport and just do awesome stuff. So if you have questions for him, he gave you the information just a little bit ago. But if you got anything for me, you want to recommend a guest, you want to be a guest yourself, you want to tell me that I uh, didn't gave you the wrong information about something or whatever, get a hold of me. That'd be Kirk at precisionriflemedia.com, or you can go to precisionriflemedia.com, click on the contact us section, and that'll shoot me an email, or Kirk at precisionriflemedia.com, for any questions, comments, or concerns. With that, everybody, I really appreciate you taking some time to listen. Take care, try to get to the range, and I'll talk to y'all next week. Thanks a lot, guys. Bye bye.